Imagine a man who could speak to the wind, command the Jinn, and understand the language of birds. A king so wise that people traveled across continents just to hear him speak. His name was Solomon, or as the Quran calls him, Sulaiman. But what if I told you his true power was not his wealth, not his army, and not his miracle, but something far deeper, a heart that listened before it judged? Today, we are surrounded by noise, opinions, distractions, and pride. Yet Solomon's story reminds us that real wisdom begins in silence, when the heart seeks truth above all else. Across the pages of both the Bible and the Quran, his life shines as a bridge between heaven and earth, between knowledge and humility, between human greatness and divine guidance. In this journey, we will explore his childhood as the son of a mighty prophet, David. We will see how he inherited not just a throne, but a mission to rule with justice and mercy. We will witness his miraculous communication with animals, his building of the great temple, his meeting with the Queen of Sheba, and the spiritual test that almost cost him everything. Stay with me till the end, because Solomon's story is not ancient history. It is a mirror for our own choices today. By the time this story ends, you will not only know who Solomon was, you might just discover how wisdom can transform your own life. Now, let us begin with the first chapter of this remarkable journey, the making of a young prophet destined for greatness. Before Solomon became a king, he was simply a son, the son of a man after God's own heart. His father David, or Dawud, was not just a ruler. He was a poet, a warrior, and a prophet whose heart beat with faith. In the palace of Jerusalem, young Solomon watched his father render judgments with fairness and wisdom, always seeking God's guidance before making decisions. The Quran beautifully captures this moment of inheritance, not of gold or power, but of understanding. And Solomon inherited David. He said, "O people, we have been taught the speech of birds, and we have been given from all things." Surah An-Naml 27:16. This was not arrogance, it was gratitude. Even as a child, Solomon's gift was clear. He did not just hear, he listened. One day, a dispute arose between two women, each claiming to be the mother of a child. The Bible in 1 Kings 3 tells us Solomon's wisdom stunned everyone. He called for a sword and said, "Divide the living child in two." One woman agreed. The other cried out, "No! Let her have the child." And in that moment, Solomon saw truth born from love. It was more than a judgment. It was the mark of divine insight. In the next part, we will see how this young prince grew into a king, not through conquest, but through wisdom that echoed through heaven and earth. When Solomon ascended the throne, he did not inherit a peaceful kingdom. He inherited challenges, neighboring nations, shifting alliances, and a people who looked to him for guidance. Most rulers would have asked for power or wealth, but Solomon asked for something far rarer. As the Bible tells in 1 Kings 3:9, he prayed, "Give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish between right and wrong." And in the Quran, Allah answered this prayer in full measure. So we subjected the wind to him, blowing gently by his command wherever he directed. And we made flow for him a spring of molten copper, and among the Jinn were those who worked under him by the permission of Allah. Surah Saba 34:12-13. These miracles were not tools of vanity. They were signs of divine trust. Imagine the skies bending to your command, or the Jinn building monuments at your word. Yet Solomon's strength lay not in these wonders, but in his gratitude. He often said, "This is from the favor of my Lord, to test me whether I will be grateful or ungrateful." Even today, leaders crave control. Solomon showed the world that control without compassion is emptiness. He ruled hearts before he ruled armies. His throne stood not just on gold, but on justice. In the next part, we will discover Solomon's connection with nature and how even the smallest creatures carried messages that shaped his wisdom. One of the most fascinating gifts given to Solomon was his ability to understand the language of animals. The Quran tells us that he once led his vast army of men, jinn, and birds across the land. As they passed through a valley, he overheard a tiny ant warning her companions, "O ants, enter your dwellings lest Solomon and his hosts crush you while they do not perceive." Surah An-Naml 27:18. Solomon smiled with gratitude and said, "My Lord, inspire me to be thankful for your blessings and to do good deeds that please you." That moment reveals something profound. A king who could command armies chose instead to listen to an ant. He saw wisdom even in the smallest of God's creations. From an interfaith lens, this moment echoes the biblical spirit of humility, where Jesus later taught, "Whoever humbles himself like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven." Solomon lived that truth centuries earlier. Imagine for a moment if we too paused long enough to listen to our surroundings, to one another, even to our own hearts. Like Solomon, we might discover that wisdom is not about being heard, but about truly hearing. And that gift of listening would soon lead Solomon to a messenger in the sky, a bird who would bring news that would test his judgment and shape the destiny of kingdoms. In the next part, we will meet that bird, the hoopoe, and uncover the story of the Queen of Sheba. One day, Solomon noticed that a bird from his army, the hoopoe, was missing. He said, "Why do I not see the hoopoe? Or is he among the absent?" Surah An-Naml 27:20. Soon, the bird returned with news that would change history. "I have discovered something you have not," it said. "I found a woman ruling over them. She has been given everything and has a mighty throne. But she and her people worship the sun instead of God." That woman was the famous Queen of Sheba, known as Bilqis in Islamic tradition. In the Bible, she is the Queen of the South who traveled to test Solomon's wisdom with hard questions. In both scriptures, their encounter symbolizes more than politics. It represents the meeting of truth and curiosity, faith and reason. Solomon did not rush to condemn her. Instead, he sent a message of peace. "Do not exalt yourselves above me, but come to me in submission to God." Quran 27:31. It was not the call of conquest. It was an invitation to understanding. When Bilqis arrived, she found a ruler who sought not to dominate, but to enlighten. She witnessed miracles, a palace that shimmered like water, a throne transported by the unseen. Her heart softened, and she said, "My Lord, I have wronged myself, and I submit with Solomon to God, Lord of the worlds." But Solomon's journey did not end there. The real test was yet to come, a test not of wealth or rule, but of faith itself. In the next part, we will explore how this wisest of kings faced his greatest spiritual trial. Every great soul faces a test, not in times of weakness, but at the height of power. For Solomon, that moment came when the gifts he was blessed with began to pull his heart toward attachment. The Quran hints at this in Surah Sa'ad 38:34, saying, "We certainly tested Solomon and placed upon his throne a body. Then he repented. Scholars across traditions have reflected deeply on this verse. Some say the test was through distraction, when love for his worldly blessings momentarily drew his focus from the remembrance of God. Others point to the parable of the lost ring, symbolizing how divine authority can slip from one's grasp when gratitude fades. The Bible, too, speaks of Solomon's spiritual struggle. In 1 Kings 11:4, it says, "When Solomon was old, his wives turned his heart after other gods, and his heart was not fully devoted to the Lord." His downfall was not sudden. It was a slow drift, the kind that begins when wisdom turns into pride. Yet Solomon's story is not one of failure. It is one of return. The Quran tells us that he sought forgiveness, saying, "My Lord, forgive me, and grant me a kingdom that will not belong to anyone after me." 38:35. His repentance restored his spirit, a reminder that no one is beyond redemption, no matter how far they have drifted. In the next part, we will uncover how Solomon's renewed faith shaped the legacy he left behind, one that still echoes in every tradition that honors wisdom. After his trial and repentance, Solomon dedicated his life to building something that would outlive his throne, a sanctuary of worship and remembrance. Both the Quran and the Bible honor this achievement, the great temple in Jerusalem, known in the Quranic tradition as a place of submission to God, and in the Bible as the house of the Lord. Imagine the scene: men, jinn, and birds working in harmony under divine command. The Quran says, "They made for him whatever he wished: sanctuaries, statues, bowls like reservoirs, and stationary kettles. Work, O family of David, in gratitude." Surah Saba 34:13. It was not just architecture, it was devotion carved into stone. The Bible in 1 Kings 6 describes the temple as a masterpiece, walls lined with cedar, adorned with gold, echoing with prayers. But Solomon knew that no building could contain the divine. He said, "The heavens, even the highest heaven, cannot contain you. How much less this temple I have built." His words revealed a truth shared across all faiths, that true worship is not confined to walls, but resides within the heart that seeks God sincerely. His temple stood as a symbol of unity between heaven and earth, body and spirit, faith and reason. It was more than a monument. It was a message. In the next part, we will reflect on how Solomon's death carried one final lesson about humility, mortality, and the unseen power of truth. The end of Solomon's life came quietly, almost unnoticed. The Quran paints a scene both mysterious and profound. Then, when we decreed death for him, nothing indicated to them his death except a creature of the earth that ate his staff. But when he fell, it became clear to the Jinn that if they had known the unseen, they would not have remained in humiliating torment. Surah Saba 34:14. For a time, Solomon's body remained upright, leaning on his staff as the Jinn continued their labor, believing their master was still alive. Only when the staff broke did his body fall, revealing that even the greatest of kings could not escape mortality. This moment was not tragedy, it was truth. Power ends, wisdom fades, but righteousness endures. The Bible, too, describes his death with quiet dignity. Then Solomon rested with his ancestors and was buried in the city of David, his father. 1 Kings 11:43. His reign had lasted 40 years, years filled with peace, prosperity, and lessons that would ripple through centuries. In both the Quran and the Bible, Solomon's death reminds humanity that knowledge of the unseen belongs to God alone. The one who once commanded wind and spirit left the world as humbly as he entered it, with nothing but his deeds. Yet his wisdom lived on, not in the treasures he built, but in the truths he taught. In the next and final part, we will reflect on what Solomon's entire journey means for us today, and how his legacy can still transform our hearts and minds. As we reach the end of Solomon's story, take a moment to reflect on what we have witnessed together. A boy who listened before he spoke, a king who asked for wisdom before power, a prophet who ruled the winds and spoke with birds, yet bowed his heart before God in humility. Across both the Quran and the Bible, Solomon stands not as a distant legend, but as a mirror for every human soul that seeks to balance knowledge, faith, and compassion. The world often teaches us that strength is about control, the power to command, to accumulate, to conquer. But Solomon's life whispers a different truth, that real strength is in surrender. When he ruled the greatest empire of his age, he never forgot who the true king was. When he faced temptation, he found his way back through repentance. When he built the grandest temple, he still knew that God's presence cannot be contained by walls. Think about it. If the wisest man who ever lived could stumble and rise again, what does that say for us? It tells us that wisdom is not perfection. It is persistence. It is the courage to listen when the world shouts, to stay humble when blessings pour in, and to seek light even when shadows fall. In both the Bible and the Quran, Solomon's prayer remains timeless. My Lord, grant me the ability to be thankful for your blessings and to do good deeds that please you. This is not just a prophet's plea, it is a roadmap for life. Gratitude keeps the heart awake, humility keeps the mind clear, and faith gives meaning to everything we build. So, as you finish this story, ask yourself, what legacy are you building? Will it be one of pride and noise, or one of wisdom and peace? Because, like Solomon, each of us holds the power to shape not just our world, but the spirit of those who come after us. If you found this journey enlightening, join our community here at Truthful Wisdom. Like, share, and leave a comment about what part of Solomon's life touched you the most. Your voice adds light to our growing circle of seekers, people learning to walk the path of wisdom together.